The village stood on the dark shoulder of a sleeping mountain. Houses were made of stone and warm clay, and steam rose from cracks in the ground, curling into the air like breath. People baked bread in ash ovens and dried fruit above vents of gentle heat. Children learned to read by the glow of fire bowls. A boy named Ivo was born there on a winter night. When he took his first breath, a small glow appeared in his chest, bright for a moment and then soft as an ember. The elders said the mountain had marked him. They called it a promise, a spark from the heart of the world. If he guarded it, it would guide him. If fear smothered it, it would fade. Ivo grew among stone paths and red light. He slid down ash slopes, carried small coals in clay bowls, and learned to listen for the hum beneath the earth. When he was brave, his chest glowed. When he was afraid, it dimmed. His mother gave him a red scarf to keep his throat warm. His father taught him how to carry a coal without letting the wind steal it. Elder Sana showed him a map that led to the mountain's heart through 3 gates called Ember, Echo, and Quiet. Beyond them was the throne of fire. "Do not rush," she said. "The mountain will call when your breath turns to smoke in your own home." Years passed and the mountain slept. Heat rose from vents, warming the village. The vines grew sweet fruit. Clay stayed soft for potters. Children bathed in blue hot springs. But one autumn morning the bathhouse was cold. The springs stopped breathing. Bread ovens swallowed logs and gave back little heat. Frost climbed the walls. People whispered that the mountain's fire had gone to sleep. Days passed and the silence deepened. Smoke stopped rising from the ground. Goats stamped their hooves for warmth. The soil turned hard. Even sound seemed to slow. Ivo woke one dawn with his teeth chattering. He pressed his hand to his chest and felt a faint pulse of heat. The ember was weak but alive. He went to find Elder Sana, who stood by the frozen spring. "It is time," she said. The mountain forgot to breathe. Someone must remind it. "Your ember is small, but it will learn." His mother wrapped the red scarf twice around his neck. His father gave him a pack with water, rope, a hammer, a wedge, and an empty clay bowl with a lid. "Bring the mountain a story," his mother said. "Bring it a rhythm," said his father. Sana placed her hand near his chest and whispered, "Bring it your fear." I've climbed the frozen ash path at dawn. The first gate waited where rock turned black. The Ember Gate was an arch with a mouth carved into stone. Inside it glowed a thin red line like a sleeping worm. He struck his flint and dropped a spark into the mouth. The red brightened and warm air brushed his fingers. "Wake," said Ivo, and the stone shivered. The gate opened. Beyond it, the tunnel was a frozen hall of stone teeth and glassy drips. Once it had been hot with steam, now it was a grave of sound. He walked carefully, following the echo of his own steps. A low wind came from the deep, carrying the smell of old smoke. "I am Ivo," he said aloud. "My village is cold. I come to ask the mountain to breathe again." The wind did not answer, but it did not stop him. At a chamber where tunnels met, he heard a faint hum underfoot, weak and broken like a forgotten drumbeat. He cracked a crust of stone with his wedge. Steam hissed out, wetting his face. The hum grew stronger. The mountain was not dead, only asleep. He followed the left tunnel and came to a narrow bridge crossing a deep blue crack. 2 faceless statues guarded the other side. Between them was the Echo Gate, a hollow cut in the rock. Ivo spoke his name and it came back broken. He sang a note and it returned stronger. He struck his hammer against the wall in rhythm. The sound rolled and grew until frost cracked beneath his boots. The statues stirred, and the bridge warmed. He bowed his head in thanks, and crossed. On the third day he found a chamber where insects shone like small stars on the ceiling. They blinked in rhythm, lighting his path to the last gate. The quiet gate was only a thin crack in the rock. A breath of air flowed from it, cold and still. He turned sideways to fit, but fear caught in his chest. His ember dimmed. He pressed both hands to it and whispered, "I am afraid, but I will walk anyway." The ember brightened. He slid into the crack. The stone scraped his shoulders. The hammer rang when it touched the wall. His heart beat fast but steady. After a few steps, the gap widened, and warmth brushed his face. He followed the faint heat to a black river of frozen lava, and beyond it to a vast hollow. The throne of fire lay there, a bowl as wide as the village square. In the center was a great whalestone streaked with dull red veins, its heart gone quiet. Around it stood stone spirits, half rock and half dim light. They were still, like figures waiting for a song. Ivo climbed down into the bowl and placed his palms on the whalestone. It was warm in one place, cold in another. His ember pulsed. He let it find a beat. Tap, pause, tap, pause. The stone answered faintly. He tapped again with his hammer, gentle at first, then steady, not striking, only calling. Wind rose and fell. Ash swirled. A stone spirit moved a finger. Ivo smiled and kept the rhythm. He tapped until his arms ached. He drank a little water, then kept going. When both hands shook, he tapped with his boot. The red veins in the whalestone flickered. The air warmed. The stones sighed like a sleeping giant. The spirits opened their eyes, slow as dawn. The ground began to hum. "Wake carefully," said Ivo. "Do not burn, just breathe." One spirit stepped forward and placed its heavy hand beside his. It tapped once, twice, and waited. Ivo matched the beat. Another joined, then another. Soon the whole ring of spirits kept time with him. The glow spread like dawn under fog. The mountain's breath returned. Heat rose, filling the hollow with living air. Ivo's ember burned bright, but did not hurt. He felt both fear and peace, and they balanced each other. The mountain exhaled. The walls trembled with deep sound. The whalestone glowed like iron and then calmed. The spirits fell still, but now they breathed. One touched Ivo's chest gently and left a line of warmth behind. He opened the clay bowl. "A coal to carry," he said. From a crack in the whalestone rolled a single red pearl. He lifted it with a fold of his scarf and placed it in the bowl. The lid clicked shut with a clean note. On the way back, the tunnels were warm. Steam rose from cracks. The gates glowed faintly. When he stepped into the open air, frost was melting into drops. The sun shone pale but steady. He pressed his hand to his chest. The ember was strong. The mountain's breath moved through him. People waited by the spring. Thin steam curled from the water. His mother ran to him. His father took the pack from his shoulder. Elder Sanna stood beside them. Ivo opened the clay bowl and lifted the lid. Inside, the coal burned softly, alive. "The mountain lost the beat," he said. "We reminded it. It gave this to us." They placed the coal in a stone cradle by the spring. Heat spread through the ground. Water shimmered and steam rose high. The ovens warmed again. The vines loosened from frost. That night the village ate hot bread and stew. They told the story of the gates and the child who carried his fear without shame. Stars shone above the peak, and the sky glowed faint red like a sleeping heart. Ivo sat with the red scarf around his neck. His friends asked if he had been brave all the time. He said no. He said the ember did not hate fear, only lies. It grew strongest when he was honest. Elder Sena smiled. The mountain will sleep again one day. Ivo nodded. Then someone will remember the beat. Winter stayed, but it was gentle. Frost drew flowers at dawn and melted by noon. Children learned to carry coals with steady hands and to listen for the rhythm beneath their feet. On clear nights, the mountain's breath rose in a soft glow, seen from far away. It was not danger. It was the ember scaled to the size of a peak. Sometimes, Ivo walked to the first gate and pressed his palm to warm stone. "Thank you," he whispered. At home he slept with a hand on his chest, the warmth steady. When fear came, he made room for it. When courage came, he made room too. Between them, the ember breathed, and on quiet nights, the mountain answered with a deep hum that said one true thing: "I am here, I am warm, keep the beat."